Welcome, this is Shakti, your online astrologer, your host for today, and I'm an online evolutionary astrologer. I'm living on Maui, Hawaii, on this tiny little island, and that's the reason why I'm doing probably 80% of my work online. I have been an astrologer for very long, 35 years, and for me personally, it has become a spiritual wisdom path, a journey of growing self-awareness and self-realization. So I do believe that we are a soul on an ever-deepening journey towards the realization of who we are, and we're a soul in a body instead of a body with a soul. So we are part of this divine creation, and we are always evolving and growing towards higher states of consciousness to be ultimately able to really express and implement loving kindness towards all beings. So the Beatles got it right. It's all about love. So today I want to talk with you about the lunar eclipse coming up October 18th, and we're going to talk about what a lunar eclipse is and how you can take proper advantage of these energies. And I have quite some practical suggestions for you. So join me over at my PowerPoint presentation and we're going to get more specific. Well, come over here, and thanks for your interest in astrology. As some of you know, I'm an evolutionary astrologer. And in evolutionary astrology, we look at everything from the soul's perspective. So our perspective is all about how you can grow, how you can raise your consciousness. And I'm also a published author. I've written a book, Jewelry and Gems for Self-Discovery, which is actually an introduction into astrology. And then there's this added part, which gemstones you can use to balance areas of friction and challenge in your chart. So for those of you who are interested in that, check it out. So moon astrology is concerned with the relationship between the sun and the moon waxing and waning in the cycle throughout the months. And we are born under position specific relationship of the moon to the sun. And the moon is a connection to our inner world of feelings, to our unconsciousness. So the moon is kind of how we relate to the world emotionally, how we feel, what we need in order to feel safe, our ability to nourish. So the moon is kind of the great mother. So the upcoming full moon lunar eclipse will be happening October 18th at 25 degrees in Aries. And lunar eclipse will always be a full moon, because even if we don't see it, because the light from the sun will be interrupted for a brief time so that the rays of the sun won't reach the moon. So today I want to focus onto this lunar eclipse. So we will talk about what exactly is a lunar eclipse and why is it special, and what does it especially mean if this lunar eclipse is in Aries like this time. So Aries, the sign of the warrior. So what does it mean? How can you take full advantage of these specific energies? So you're wandering in there till the end, because this is where I give you the practical suggestions for this very special full moon. So whenever we talk astrology, we are really using the art or the science of astrology and the archetypes and symbols. So we are talking about the potentiality of life, the underlying forces, underlying creative forces creating our three-dimensional reality. And in this field of potentiality, there's always there are always those lower manifestations and higher manifestations to express those energies. And as I often say, everybody lives their chart. It's just a question on what level. Are you more on the lower end or more on the higher end, where it's get easier and you are kind of in the flow with life. As I said before, a lunar eclipse is always a full moon. And while we have the full moon every month, we will have 2, maybe 3 eclipses throughout the year. And the lunar eclipse is happening when the Earth is moving briefly between the sun and the moon, interrupting the energy flow between the sun and the moon. A lunar eclipse is an extra powerful full moon. And you can imagine it or compare it to restarting your computer. So sometimes when you have trouble with something in your computer, if you just restart it, it fixes itself. So here, for us in a lunar eclipse and this interruption in the flow of the energy and the light from the sun to the moon, we experience the restart of our emotional consciousness. And with that, the possibility to reach a new level of awareness, a new sense of emotional maturity, emotional sense of self. And that makes it very special. So it's interesting for you to find out where that lunar eclipse in your chart is happening and if it's activating different aspects in your chart. Here's how the chart for the lunar eclipse looks like for October 18th, 4:39 p.m. for San Francisco. So of course we have all kinds of other things going on here, but I want you to see how it visually looks. So the sun is in Libra and is exactly in opposition to the moon. This is what we call a full moon position. So Aries is the archetype of the warrior. And this is how an old warrior on Maui might have looked like. So Aries is the archetype of the warrior, and Aries in the zodiac is the first step in the evolution, and it correlates with the spring equinox. So Aries symbolizes everything where we start something new with a lot of passion, with a lot of energy. So here we have the pioneer, the initiator, the survivor. So this is really like this initiative force of the first green leaf making its way through the earth. So there is an enormous strength and starting energy in that. Taking a deeper look, one thing a warrior values is courage. So in your chart, wherever you have Aries and wherever your Mars is, this gives you a hint where you need to face obstacles, where you need to step forward with courage, where you need to develop willpower, and also where you probably are somehow competitive, where you need a victory. So Aries people, if they don't end up in the army, they make good sportsmen or women. So there's a competitive, energetic drive, and they just love to challenge themselves physically. And they have a lot of energy to do it as well. As I said before, for each sign in the zodiac, there's always a high road in all the possibilities and a low-end road. And usually we kind of start out more on the lower side, and so more we evolve, so more mature we get, so more we kind of tackle the high road. So here's a high road for Aries is to learn about courage, to learn about directness, truthfulness, making a stand, being visible. So it's also about developing willpower. It's about learning the right use of force. So the right use of force means, for me, for example, if I stand up to defend somebody who is more vulnerable, who is weaker than me. So, like, for example, most parents will stand up for their children and defend them no matter what. And that's kind of the right use of force in my book. So if you have a lot of Aries in your chart, the moon or sun or ascendant or other planets, these are themes you're gonna be with throughout your life. And there's also this longing in you to want to be a hero, to want to stand for something meaningful. So taking care for weaker people. So this is something the high road for Aries is standing for. And of course, there is a low end path for Aries, the bloody path, the path of war, the path of cruelty, of rage, of hatred, of anger, of abuse, violence. So we humans, we have a history of wars, and I mean, even today, I mean, there are plenty of wars activity going on the planet, and even so-called evolved cultures like America things to find resolutions through war. I mean, the whole situation in Syria is just an example of that. I mean, in NLP hypnotherapy, one of the main tenets we work from is that the solution to a problem can never be found on the same level. So you have to go to a higher state of consciousness. You have to go to a meta level to find solutions. So whenever we choose to go the low end path for Aries, rage, anger, there is no solution. There's just being caught up in our instinctive nature. So now I'd like to come to the more practical suggestions for this full moon eclipse and discuss what you can do in order to ride this wave, to face emotional disturbances you might experience this month. So first of all, I want to invite you to meditate and contemplate what it means for you to be a warrior of the heart. I know there have been books written about that, the loving qualities of the heart, the forgiving qualities of the heart. But what does it mean for you? I mean, how can a warrior be in alignment with the heart? So you need to find your own answers here. I can give you one hint. What works for me is whenever, for example, I get with my husband into some kind of fight or something, what we learned is to disengage and just go to our room and just be still. And then after some time has passed and we're out of this initial reactivity, then we come back together and discuss what has happened. So learning to become still, learning to control those lower impulses, that fighting, going against, showing the other. So those instinctual reactivity. This is kind of the bonus of this eclipse. This is what we can learn to get better at. I also like you to meditate on where in your life, even if you don't know your chart, but maybe you do, then you have more concrete ideas, but just meditate on where you need to develop more courage in your life. If you do have your chart handy, look which house cusp is in Aries. So this is the area in your life. The house is symbolizing where you need to develop that courage, where you need to face something head on with all your strengths and ability to walk your talk and taking your fears with you. So also where your Mars is in your chart. This is where you learn. So the Mars is your courage point. And whenever you kind of slow down, you still your mind, you're off the computer, you don't listen to music, you just be still. This is when you're gonna be in what Tony Robbins calls the zone. The zone is when your brainwave goes down into alpha or even theta frequency, and this is where you have different access to your resources, to your brain, to your consciousness. So when you allow that to happen, and there are different methods of meditation out there to check out what works for you. But when you have found a way how to do that slowing down, how to get into alpha and theta waves, then you can think about what is your new project you would like to embark on. What is your vision where you might have had it for a while, but you have kind of shied away because it seemed to be too much work, or you didn't feel good enough. So yeah, get into your zone and think about what is that next project in your life you like to embark on. If you like and enjoy gemstones and jewelry, so one of the Aries gemstones is the ruby. And the ruby is a stone which relates to the heart chakra as well to the first chakra. So the ruby is really one of those unique stones which help us to bring the energy up from the first chakra where it's all about survival and me, through the sexual chakra, the second, through the power chakra, the third, into the heart, where we are able to connect with others and make others' well-being as important as our own is, like our family's well-being, for example. So ruby is a stone of unconditional love. Ruby is a stone which steps in to help after we have done some inner work and our consciousness has evolved to overflow, to come to that state of unconditional love, of being. So love is not really something we do or we receive. Love is really a state of being. In case you enjoy the gemstones and crystals and jewelry for the women, I've developed a gemstone profile, which is really based on your personal birth chart, and it will give you one gemstone per planet, the 10 classical planets, the Chiron, the Ascendant, the North Node, and the South Node. And this is a really nice way of balancing different areas in your chart, which are representing different areas in your personality, in your emotional body. So if you love gemstones, this is a nice way to go for it. And you have to go to my website, Maui Astrology Reading, and there you can find a link and more explanation. Last one, find a wisdom teacher. A wisdom teacher, for example, if you feel drawn to learn to harness those warrior, fiery, fierce kind of energies, you could find a place where you learn Aikido or karate or yoga, any kind of martial art. Because it's not just about learning to fight and wrangle with somebody. All those truly original martial arts paths have been wisdom paths, have been paths to learn to be disciplined, to harness those lower impulses and forces inside of yourself. So I have been very lucky that I have been doing Aikido for many years, and I had a wonderful teacher. And for me, when I was still able to do this kind of workout, it did become a spiritual journey. It was what introduced me to meditation. So find a wisdom teacher of any kind. Find something, some path, some journey that speaks to you. Because basically it's mind over matter, it's consciousness over matter. So however you can help your consciousness to grow, to evolve. This is your next step in your own personal evolution. So consciousness is the key. Consciousness, your personal state of consciousness will decide how you will be able to respond to life's challenges and how you can ride the wave of life. And I hope that this has been helpful for you and you enjoyed it. Please talk to me, leave me your comments. This is what I'm living for. I'm always talking to this empty space. So for you to get back to me, it really enriches me, and I know what I'm doing this for. So I'm looking forward to hear from you. If you liked my presentation, make sure you subscribe for upcoming videos, forecasts through YouTube. And you can also go to my website where you can sign up for my newsletters. And there you will get a free report for your love stone, the stone for your heart, based on the Venus position in your birth chart on your personal astrology. So also when you are part of my newsletter list, I will inform you about when I will do beginner classes for astrology, where I teach you how you read a chart. So if you want to go deeper with learning astrology, let me know and I put you on a special list there. Okay, if you like this, please like me. That's always nice to see the thumbs up. And I see you another time. If you're interested in my online readings, I do through Skype, wherever you are on the planet, which is actually a lot of fun. You can call me for in Hawaii, 808-878-8182, or head over to my website, mauiastrologyreading.com. Thanks for hanging in there with me. I hope you enjoyed. And as we say on Maui, aloha.